Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. It's Friday. Oh my goodness, this week has just blown by. I am super excited to be back on a coffee and conversation. Haven't been doing this for the last couple weeks. I've been working toward graduation, handling all my final papers and projects and things, and also prepping for Miss Kansas, doing some paperwork and some appearances. So I've been a little busy for coffee and conversation, but I am so excited for today's guest. She is a sweet, sweet friend of mine, and she just texted me trying to figure out how to get into the room. So send the invite. Okay, I think she's here. So I'm super excited for today's guest. It's Allie Geyer. Hello.
Hi. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. My volume was down all the way, so I heard, I saw you, but I couldn't hear you, and I was like, this is going to be bad if it's something worse. Yeah. But I'm so glad you're here. Hello, how's life?
It's going. I mean, life is life. I've got my LEDs, my lovely LEDs lit up behind me. Very fun.
I was just going to say we both have our purple going on. Well, you can't see it the way that mine's situated, but we didn't plan that, folks. It's
no, we did not.
Pure coincidence.
I had different colors. I was like, I don't know what color I want to go with, but purple's gonna be the one today.
I love it. I love it. My tripod's falling over, so sorry for the technical difficulties, friends. It was working just fine until I tried to show off my light.
My tripod is actually the one that my fiance uses to play Magic online with friends. So it was a good purchase. It was a good purchase on his part.
Good.
It was great.
Good.
It was
great. I'm really glad you brought that up, because that's one of the things that we're going to be talking about. We can talk about your fiance too, but I meant Magic the Gathering.
Yes, Magic mostly.
Mostly Magic, yes. So something that I'm going to let you introduce yourself, but one of the things that Allie and I bond over, not only did I was formerly Miss Augusta, and she is now currently Miss Butler County through the same organization, Augusta Butler County, led by the fabulous Larry Strong.
Yes,
but we also bond over a fun hobby that we both have, which is gaming, not only video games, but also card games. And so I'm gonna toss it over to Allie. Allie, introduce yourself however you'd like. Doesn't have to talk about gaming yet. We'll get into that in a minute, but feel free to introduce yourself and tell everyone what you're about.
Okay, well, hi everybody. My real name is Alexandria Geyer, but I prefer Allie. It's just, I don't know, I've always been Allie. So my name's Allie Geyer. I'm Miss Butler County 2020/2021 because of COVID and everything. We have our new year titles and everything. Me and Sierra will both be competing for Miss Kansas come July, the first week of July, which is going to be so excited. I'm so fun. Hi, Hayden. But it's going to be super fun. But like Sierra said, we're both very interested in gaming. The little graphic that she, came up with, we talk about mental health, gaming. We have a lot of connections for that. I recently encouraged her to buy a Switch, which she did. I was very happy when she texted me. Yes, I have mine here. I have an obsession with stickers, so I put stickers on literally everything. Yes, she texted me. She was like, I bought a Switch. And I was like, yes! I was so excited, but getting a little off track there. But yeah, my name is Allie, and I'm just, I'm going to be 19 here in 20 some odd days. I've lost track. But I'm a freshman at Dodge City Community College, about to be a sophomore. I'm majoring in marketing. I really like people. I really like to talk with people. And a lot of my coworkers and friends say that I can sell ice to an Eskimo. So I think it's like a perfect fit for me. So that's a little bit about me.
I love that. What made you go into marketing? Maybe the natural skill, but was there any one moment that you were like, this could be for me?
Yeah, honestly, I think there was a couple different moments. Not only so I am currently an assistant manager here at the Dodge City Maurices. I was promoted 3 months after I started working there.
Oh.
And I think right then and there, I realized I'm like, okay, this is kind of what I want to do, whether it be selling clothes, whether it be selling a business plan, marketing plan, anything. I realized that this is kind of what I want to do. And then the second one was my public speaking professor. Because of COVID, I actually had to take that class twice because it to an online curriculum that I had never been used to. This was during the first shutdown and everything. During the second time I took his class, I was sitting there talking and I rewrote an entirely new speech. And he was like, have you decided your major yet? I was like, no, I'm just kind of still floating. I wanted to do communications journalism when I was back and forth. You would be a great major. I was like, oh, how so? He's like, your people skills, you're able to just sit down and talk. And I guess he actually majored in marketing whenever he went to his community college back. He has like 3 degrees, but he majored in marketing. And he's like, you got that, you've got that zing that all marketing majors that I know have. I was like, okay. So then, yeah, that's kind of when I decided that I wanted to do marketing. So.
Okay. And I don't want to put words in your mouth, but in my experience, a lot of our job as title holders within the Miss America organization, you learn a lot of marketing on the job. So I kind of want to hear your perspective or your experience and how your talents have conveyed onto the Miss America, not only stage, but also the job.
Yeah, so when I originally started off as a teen in this organization. I think we're going on 4 or 5 years. I think 4 or 5 years. Started off as a teen in the organization. Our jobs at the time for our specific local organization was we needed to get sponsors because, they wanted that to rely on the title holders since we were the ones actually getting, it was helping us and stuff like that. So they wanted us to get sponsors, and I realized how many, my lights just randomly changed. Okay, that's fun. But back to what I was saying, we had to get sponsors and stuff like that so that they could sponsor the organization. My family, but how outgoing I was in high school and things like that. And so my first year of pageantry, I went out and I said, okay, here's a list of 8 sponsors that I know will sponsor at least. And I went to them and I said, look, I'm going to be competing for Miss Kansas Outstanding Teen this summer, and I'd love for you to sponsor me. And, I just kind of went along that. And with them being not only family friends, but also wanting to support what I was wanting to do, they were willing to sponsor and everything. And then those connections actually grew into some of our better sponsors or bigger sponsors, not better, not qualified. There's some of our bigger sponsors for the Miss Dodge City organization here in Dodge. So it's one of those things that, those relationships have kind of grown a little bit to become what they are now through me just getting to, be myself, the different titles over the year, Miss Ford County's Outstanding Teen to Miss Cowboy Capital's Outstanding Teen, and, so on and so forth. Those relationships really started at a little root, and then they just kind of sprouted into what they are today from my marketing skills.
I love that. And it's so important, I think. I love that you touched on the growth that you've had, not only with your sponsors, but I personally, I've known you through the organization for a couple of years now. Thanks to COVID, 2 more years than what normally our timeline looks like. But there's been a lot of growth, and I really would love to hear you speak to, the personal and professional development that you've had, throughout being a teen candidate all the way up. This will be your first year competing in the Miss category. So will you talk kind of about your growth experience personally? You kind of touched on professionally, and then I want to ask a follow-up question about Miss and teen, the difference between it. So
yes,
just warning you.
Yeah. So you're fine. When I first started in pageants, it was actually because my mom had done one of my dear friends. She did her hair and makeup and everything. Erin Slattery, who is actually our Miss Cowboy Capital, she is the friend who I watched compete, and my mom at her local at the time did her hair and makeup and stuff like that. And I remember my mom was like, come watch. I was like, okay, cool. I was a tomboy. I was wearing a baggy sweatshirt and just jeans that didn't fit me right and tennis shoes. Obviously none of it matched, but I went and I just kind of sat down and I watched, and this was at the time that swimsuit was still a prevalent thing in the Miss America organization. And so I was sitting there and I was watching her because I saw from a timid girl, and now she was on stage and she was super confident, and I was like, this is kind of cool. So then after that had, finished and everything, I told my mom, I was like, this is actually really cool. And she was like, do you want to try it? And I was like, yeah, let's do it. And so then we, watched what teen was, the difference between teen and miss and stuff like that. So I was like, I really want to do teen. So then down came the decision of title, because at the time teens didn't have to compete for their title. They just kind of picked their title and went to Miss Kansas Outstanding Teen. So I picked the title Miss Ford County's Outstanding Teen. And from there on, it just started this journey of me growing so much more confident with talking to people, and not only through my high school debate class as well. I did grow a little bit of confidence there too. But I definitely was able to make connections. I definitely wouldn't be the woman I am today without this organization, because of how extroverted and outgoing I now am. I thank this organization for it. I really do.
That's amazing. And like I said, I've known you distantly and then now more throughout the last couple of years. And there really is an incredible growth. Not only for you, but also for me and every other candidate in the organization, whether they've been a part of it for, 5 years, 7 years, or even just 1/2 years in this crazy timeline. But how is it different now that you've because we competed together at Miss Southwest, and then you came and won at Miss Augusta Butler County, so that's two. Did you compete in any other Miss titles?
It was just the two, because we did the little second pageant, like
Miss Santa Fe Trail.
That one. So technically 3 Miss pageants under my belt, but that's it. I didn't compete for any other titles in between Southwest and Miss Santa Fe and Miss Butler County. I just competed at those 3.
And that was so for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, during the weekend of Miss Southwest, went way back in 2019 in the olden days. There were 4 of us competing, and the rules are you have to have at least 3 candidates per title in order to give away that scholarship money and give away that title. So there were 4 of us, so we could only give away 1 title, but they were hoping to give away a second scholarship. If we had had 6 candidates, that's what would have happened. And that's actually how I ended up competing in Southwest, because they were like, hey, we need candidates or we can't give away a scholarship. And I was like, I'm all about scholarship. So we all went to Ulysses, Kansas to go out and compete. And I think even before interview happened, we all were like, hey, if you have the second scholarship, can we just do this again tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like, I have a hotel, you have a hotel, you live down the street. Like, can we just
because we were
do
all
this
just
again?
sitting in that little room.
Is everyone cool? Yeah, and so
sitting in that
when
room.
we were like, I mean, I'm okay competing again. Yeah, and so thanks to the incredible Ulysses community, they were able to find 5 new judges, brand new auditors, and they were able to hold another pageant the very next morning. It was an incredibly long weekend, but they were able to hold another pageant in literally 12 hours later. So that was a whirlwind of an experience, especially for your second Miss pageant ever. So what is your kind of take on teen versus Miss competition, and what was that transition like, and what were thoughts going through your head?
So originally when I 2.0 when I first started in the teen competition, and then my last year of teen, that's when I started transitioning to the Miss America 2.0. At first I was very against the change because I hadn't been in the Miss organization. I was only in teen, and you know, there's a difference between realizing that I really want to continue to compete in Miss. And I started realizing how much better of a change a Miss America 2.0 really was. And my first, I went into this completely blind. Like, I had my friends who were misses, but it was like, it was all new for them because they were used to Miss America 1.0 instead of Miss America 2.0. And so it was just this whole thing where I was just kind of like, down to Ulysses, and I had competed for their teen title the previous year back in 2018 before I won my Miss Cowboy Capital Outstanding Teen title. I competed for Miss Ulysses's Outstanding Teen. So I drove back down there all by myself at like 6 in the morning, drove down there by myself, and got to meet all the girls, got to meet Sierra for the first time ever, because before this I had never got to like meet face to face. I just saw her like, at orientations and stuff. So super happy to get to meet her. Yeah. And then Dakota Durstein, which she actually lives in Dodge too. We're pretty good friends. We've been friends for a couple years now. And then Paige Harding, again, I actually grew up with her sister, friends for a very long time. And so we all drove down there, and we just kind of competed, and I really liked the change. I really did. Transitioning from teen to Miss, I felt like it really was able to showcase the different skills that I had that would be more useful as a Miss than as a teen. Because as a teen, you still are able to live your life as a teen, but you also don't have as much responsibility. As a Miss, you got a lot more responsibility because your group, I guess, or the adult side of the organization, I would say. But it was really nice getting to have that responsibility, changing from teen to Miss, because with teen, I could, still live my life and I didn't really have to focus on Miss Kansas. But now as a Miss Kansas has become a priority for me, when in the past, teen was never really a priority. It was just kind of something I did. Now it is something that I strive to do. So the difference between, loved it. I've loved every second of it.
That's a really good highlighting the point, your mindset going into both teen and Miss preparation and the job. I do want to talk a little bit about the job, especially because May is Mental Health Awareness Month, and I know that's something not only passionate for both of us, but something that you quite literally advocate for on the stage every time you compete, because it's part of your talent. So will you kind of tell us a little bit about your social impact initiative and your talent piece? Because I know those are both interesting, like they coincide together,
Yeah,
or at least they did when we competed together. I don't know if you changed it, but okay, good.
They still do. They still do.
I really want everyone to learn about that.
Yeah, so my social impact initiative talked about my platform. That's what I'm referring to. It is now called Social Impact Initiative. It is depression and anxiety. There is hope. For many years, I've struggled with severe depression and anxiety. It was something I actually was just recently, and I'm perfectly fine with talking about this too. I was just recently medicated for it because it had gotten to a point where I stepped back and I was like, I need to do something about this. Because for years, I kept telling myself I was fine, I was fine, I was fine, when really I wasn't. I wasn't doing fine. And I really needed that help. And so many other people go through that exact same thing where they tell themselves they're fine, they're fine, they're fine. Or other people may tell them that me. And it hurts because the last conversation we had was actually an argument. And so this was before the harsh reality of what life is like in not only high school, but in the real world, when you have those connections and they can be gone in an instant. I didn't realize that, that was a real thing. And so when I lost him, it was something that hurt not only me, but so many others. Like, he had so many different friends that we were all in this little friend group. And so, it was one of those things that I struggled with. From then on, I really struggled. I didn't realize that he was going through that. None of us did. None of us realized that he was going through something like that. He was the happiest guy you could know. He all constantly cracked his different jokes and stuff. And so I always have to, ever since we lost him, I always have to take a step back and think, what is that person going through? Because we never know what somebody's really going through. Like with my personal experience, I didn't want to show people that I struggled. Like, I didn't want to show people that, I had weak spots. I wanted to tell people that I'm this strong person that, didn't have to worry about these things, when in reality, it was crushing me. And so I want to let people know not be okay, that you can struggle and you can still find help. And so my biggest thing is being help for those different people, for, it's constantly being kind to people. That's one thing. And I work in the retail and customer service industry. Somebody can be rude to me and I'll just smile back, because you never know what somebody's going through that day. We had a lady come in who, she actually told us about her husband passing away. And then by the end of the 2-hour conversation me and my head manager had with her, she said that we were the only two. And so it's just, you never know what somebody's going through. And so I always like to be I don't want someone to, that be their last thought, is just that someone was mean. And so, just being that kind person is what my platform is all about. And Sierra had mentioned that my social impact initiative and my talent actually do kind of, combine there, because since I mentioned that I do deal with depression and anxiety, my talent is a self-written monologue about those thoughts. It's the inner monologue that I deal with when going through a depressive or anxious episode. It's thoughts that I literally have written down going through those different episodes. And so it's real and it's raw. And that's kind of what I'm wanting to show people, is what the real and raw thoughts are of, someone who deals with depression and anxiety. And so that's how my social impact initiative and my talent, kind of. And one little sneak peek that I'll tell everybody is a lot of my wardrobe actually consists of the teal and the dark green colors of the depression and anxiety ribbons. So fun little sneak peek there. That's one thing that I really wanted to do, was incorporate those colors into my wardrobe, because of how much of an impact it means to me. Like, that's how I want to portray myself, is, being that girl who is so strongly advocating for depression and anxiety that I just want to bring it across. I want it to be in people's faces. I really do. So that's kind of why it means so much to me, is because there's so many people that struggle that you would never know. So that's a little bit about my social impact. I say a little bit. Social impact initiative and talent.
No, it was perfect. I so admire that that's something that you have taken up the mantle and the charge to advocate for, something so fiercely. I love, it goes back to the marketing mindset, right? Of the branding. Like, we may not be judged in competition every single moment of the day, but every single moment of the day is a chance to advocate and to highlight what we're passionate about. And so the fact that you have your even down to your wardrobe, the brand that you're carrying forward of mental health advocacy warms my heart, not only as a marketer, but also as someone who is diagnosed with chronic depression and anxiety. It's something that I struggle with too. I mean, I think there's like the statistic 1 in 4 adults struggle with some kind of mental disorder, mental health, struggle with their mental health. You probably can speak to it a little better than me, actual statistics, but everyone deals with something. So thank you for advocating for that. It's sometimes a really hard thing to talk about, and there is that stigma that's still associated with mental health sometimes that I think I don't know if it scares people to talk about it or if it makes them uncomfortable, but there is that stigma, and I'm glad that you're doing what you can to highlight it on the state stage and maybe national stage, to bring light to something that makes people dark.
Yeah, for sure. And again, acting up. This is what I get for buying cheap lights from Walmart. That's we were in the middle of a serious conversation and then just wanted to have a disco. It was really nice. This is, I swear, these act up more than not.
It was nice.
Thank you. They just wanted to have a little disco. It's fine.
It was great. So, kind of gonna change gears a little. Go ahead. You go ahead. It's okay.
Oh, okay. All right. So, we kind of mentioned gaming, right? That's a big thing, you know. In Sierra, I love how Sierra put it in the graphic and in gaming, because we are unrepresented. I will tell you that. We are very underrepresented. And so at the beginning of this live, I was telling everybody, the new people who joined in, to buy a Switch because she had wanted to, and she was going to wait till like graduation and everything. And I was like, treat yourself, do it. So we literally ventured down to our local Walmart because they always have them in stock. Like after, I should say, COVID is not over by any means. But after quarantine, they started having them in stock again. And I was like, let's go down to Walmart and see if they have one. They were sold out. Very sad.
Every single time I've tried to buy a Switch, they've been sold out. Like everywhere I go. Yeah. It's a curse. But I finally got one.
Finally got one. So I've had a Switch for actually a year now. May marks a year of having my Switch. I love my child. This is my child at this point.
Look at that.
I decorated her with stickers. She's amazing. She's gone through so much. I also have my gaming pro controller. I got a skin on it. She is very worn down for a year's play. She's very worn down. But you know,
let's talk games. What is your favorite game to play?
So, and it's not a video game, which Sierra mentioned at the beginning. It is actually a card game, which we both play, and it is Magic the Gathering. Let me actually pull a card. Here we go. Magic. But Magic the Gathering is my favorite game to play. It is a collectible trading card game. There's so many different formats and there's so many different ways to play. With COVID and everything, well, pre-COVID, I should say, Wizards of the Coast, who made Magic the Gathering, launched a app and website or game called Magic the Gathering Arena. So you can play it on your phone, your computer. But I prefer the physical version because it's so much more fun to feel the cards in your hand than on a computer screen. But that's just personal preference. But it is an absolute blast to play. Anybody who knows me in real life knows that this is just a character trait of mine for the fact that I play Magic. It's just a character trait that I have, and I don't stop talking about it. I really don't.
There's no shame in that. It's a good game to play, especially So I learned to play Magic in college. I had a friend who that was like I wouldn't even say hobby because it was like his personality
Yeah.
almost that
Yeah,
it was just
it's a personality
thing
trait.
to do
It really
anytime.
is.
It's a great way, and this is where I think it ties in really well to what we were just talking about, mental health. It's a great outlet for self-care. It's a good way to like take your mind off of the stress and anxiety, or at least in my perspective, it's a great way to like take your mind out of the stress that you're dealing with and moving it toward something fun and exciting and something that connects you to a community. What do you think? Is that something that you relate to?
We have
Hi,
in
Shannon.
Dodge City, Kansas.
I think.
Hello, hi. Plays. And because of COVID, it kind of scared a lot of us. We had a couple of people who were immunocompromised that, you know, prevented them from playing out in public. But now, since it's died down a little bit, especially in our community, we're able to go out and play with each other again. But the connections that I've made through this have been absolutely amazing. I've absolutely loved this game for the connections that I've made. And so that's actually my fiance was the one who got me into this game. And that's a whole reason why we are where we are today is because of this game. It really is a character trait. I'm not even gonna lie. It's a character trait if you play Magic. It is. Because you spend so much time. Like if you guys saw my desk right now, it is little center for like pens and scrunchies. The rest of it's Magic. It really is. It is taken over mine and my fiance's life. But it is a really good outlet to, you know, treat yourself and to be able to relax after a long day. That's one of my favorite things to do is come home and just play a game of Magic because it's a fun, relaxing game, and it also really helps by continuously stimulating your brain for different things because you're constantly making these different decisions, and it also helps with mental math. I will say my math is terrible, but over the years playing this game has really helped with my mental math because I can do the quick addition, the quick multiplication, things like that. Very random fact, but it really has helped with my math. But it is a really good de-stressor to be able to sit down. Of course, whenever you first learn a long day, just play a game of Magic, especially if you get to hang out with your friends, because it doesn't even feel like you're playing anymore. You just get to hang out with your friends while fiddling with some cards. That's what it really feels like at the end of the day with a group of friends.
I completely agree. I think that's something. There's the mental math I want to talk about. I really like that you brought that up because there's I feel like throughout almost all of my childhood, there were news headlines that were like video games are rotting brains and
Yeah.
games are terrible and they're horrible and kids should be outside. And I want to make a statement. I'm not telling people to stop going outside. That's not what I mean. But there is a lot of value when it comes to video games or card games like this because there are critical thinking skills you learn, mental math, like you fine tune those skills, hand-eye coordination that you learn. And I feel like you and I talked about this when we met up for coffee not too long ago about Animal Crossing, the video game, being really great for people with depression and how it gives you tasks that you have to do each day. And so for those of us who struggle with, you know, performing tasks or doing, you know, having a routine, Animal Crossing has been shown, studies have been shown something that it really helps people build that routine, and it's almost like a lot of people got a lot of quarantine pets to take care of during quarantine, right? Like we as humans, part of our empathetic setting is we like to take care of other things, and when we take care of other things we start to take care of ourselves a little bit better. And so this is kind of like Animal Crossing. We have a whole little village of things that we need to take care of. And it gives us a chance to work on ourselves too. So I haven't bought Animal Crossing yet. This isn't a commercial, but I'm thinking about buying it.
Game. The first game I bought was Super Smash Bros. And then I bought Animal Crossing. That was the second game I bought. 110% right. Like, the studies have shown that by, you know, having these tasks to do in this virtual game, you then in turn are able to take care of yourself better and start getting that routine. It's not a game, you know, you can sink hours into it. I've done way too many hours into the game. But you know, having having the different tasks and things like that to take care of this village and to take care of something that you can be prideful of, that you can, you know, be so proud of, really helps. And not only with taking care of yourself, but also your self-esteem. Because I will tell you, during quarantine, like I said, I got my Switch it back in May of 2020, so I was kind of mid-quarantine when I got it. I didn't put on makeup. I didn't, you know, I didn't care to do my hair. You know, I waited every 3 days to take a shower because I wasn't going anywhere. So there was no in taking care of myself. That was the mindset that I had during quarantine. And so when I started going down that hill, it started snowballing and getting worse, and I didn't get out of bed anymore. And so when I started getting Animal Crossing, or when I got Animal Crossing in May, I was able to finally pick myself back up, because in the morning I'd be like, okay, gotta take care of my village. But first, gonna make myself make my bed, brush my teeth, and have a cup of coffee. So I would tell myself, okay, before I get, and you know, with Animal Crossing, there's also, they do it in real in the game. And so I said, okay, before 10 a.m. when the Nook's Cranny opens, I need to have all these things in real life done before I can go and play Animal Crossing. Something that I started to get a routine because of this game back in quarantine. And it's just kind of stuck. Before I started playing this game, I never made my bed in the morning. I actually just never made my bed. And now it's something that it is a habit, and I can't function throughout my day if my bed is not made, because I just feel so incomplete if my bed is not made. And so I picked up these little good habits of, you know, taking care of myself and taking care of the things around me because of this game. All because of a game that, you know, I randomly spent $60 on because I wanted to. A cute game. I picked up so many good routines and a lot of good self-esteem because of this game.
It's incredible how much something, like you said, just a game that you pick up randomly can have an effect on our habits and our self-esteem and what we can accomplish. Yeah, Shannon says it takes 60 days to form a new habit. Yep. So that means that you at least did it for 60 days, taking care of your villagers and building something good. So if any of you are watching and you're currently like, man, I don't have any routines, or man, I'm feeling, you know, I've been feeling down for a long time, or maybe you are like me and you have been diagnosed with depression and anxiety, and you're like, I don't know how I'm gonna get back out of this funk, and I don't know how I'm gonna take care of something. Again, this is not a commercial for Animal Crossing. I promise. No one's paying me to say that. Find something similar. Right, yeah, exactly. Find something. It doesn't have to be, again, video games if you're not into them, but find something that can help you form a habit, right? Like, it can be hard to be like, yeah, I'm going to start doing this thing for 60 days. Like, if you don't have any positive rewards or incentives to accomplish those things, it can be really hard, especially when you're depressed, to self-motivate. I know. I literally am there right now with all of my homework and assignments and final projects. Super hard to self-motivate. But I personally have the end goal of graduation, right? Like, and so that's something that I'm able to self-motivate for. It's not feeding villagers or taking care of my island, but it's something that I find to motivate me that's external to the depression that I'm currently experiencing. So if you, this might be a question for you, Allie. If someone is experiencing depression or anxiety, or if they're feeling homesick, or you know, going through some kind of mental health where they need help and they just don't know how to ask for it, what resources are there that you can point us to?
So definitely turning to your hobbies is one of the biggest things I recommend. I actually have a journal. I keep a journal. I write down different tasks that I have during my day. You know, I write down different hobbies or different things that I need. Everything I do goes in this journal. Yep, exactly. Everything I do goes in this little journal because it helps me, you know, kind of keep my life contained. And so journaling is another good thing that I like to do. If you like drawing, I'm also a cartoonist. My sketchbook is over on my chair because I just got done sketching a picture. You know, just finding your hobbies and really turning towards your hobbies. Yeah, that's exactly, turning towards your hobbies. And because it's something that you enjoy. If it's a hobby, it means you enjoy it because you continuously take time out of your day or out of your week to do that project, that, you know, objective. And so turning to your hobbies is, and not necessarily a way to distract yourself, but that's how I've used it, is a way to kind of distract myself from the feelings that I was having. And so I drew, and so I played video games, and so I journaled and things like that. So using your hobbies as an outlet to kind of get rid of the negative emotion is the biggest recommendation I give people. It is something I'm like, if you have not tried that, that should be the first thing you try because there's a hobby out there for everyone. There really is. I do not have a green thumb in any sense of the word. I spent $50 on plants and they have died less than a month later. So if you like gardening, garden, you know, it's different things, that there is a hobby for everyone. There really is. So if you haven't, you know, found a hobby that really sticks, continue to experiment with different hobbies. I mean, you know, Hobby Lobby exists. Dodge recently got rid of ours, but Walmart has their different crafting sections and things like that. So different stores have different just hobbies. And all in all, if you can't find a hobby, music exists as well. You know, listening to music that's the time really helps when you're struggling. It really does. Music, and I would literally, for days on end, I would turn on music and draw or paint or, you know, journal or play my video games. And I would pass days doing that, of just doing that, because it's what made me happy in the moment. And so, you know, it's finding your different hobbies and pursuing them because they really are, I mean, you're doing them for a reason because they make you happy. So make yourself happy and continue with your hobbies because they're amazing. They do wonders.
Absolutely. I think we're really fortunate to live in a world with TikTok. I'm not saying TikTok is a hobby, but TikTok definitely helps people find hobbies that they never considered exploring before, like watercolor or photography, or, you know, there's these little microcosm jars that you can go and like adventure around and like get creek water and some moss and like sticks, and then you have like a little, I never realized there's a whole community dedicated to making like little microorganism jars.
It's so
but
cool.
there's so much. And so if you're on TikTok and you don't know what a good hobby is, just stroll through there because they've got tons of things.
Yeah, For You page exists for a reason.
Exactly. Mine's all interior design. I don't know why.
A muddle mixture of just random stuff.
Though I will
say,
really so after like 2 days after I texted you that I got a Switch, my For You page, someone popped up and they were like, discount Switch games for people with mental health problems. These are things you might enjoy. And I was like, who's listening to me? Like, what is happening here?
Is Mark Zuckerberg
nice because
listening
I found a couple
to
new
us?
games.
Yeah.
something.
I always make the joke that Mark Zuckerberg is just listening to everything, because anytime I go to search anything on my phone or even mention it, Facebook knows. And I'm like, how? I will literally talk about one, and Facebook and Instagram are like, here you go. It confuses me. TikTok is the same
this
thing.
is the moment. Yeah, I feel like this is the moment I page in our friend, my friend Kiera Page. She's a cybersecurity expert. And so she would be able to tell us how to turn off all of our notifications so that they can stop stalking. I feel like, shout out to her. But yeah, Facebook knows everything. So,
really
what I want to talk about Magic a little bit more, and we can keep talking about video games too, because I think this next topic relates both of them. You mentioned being as women in gaming, we're incredibly underrepresented, and I want to talk about that because that is something. Part of the reason why I really was so excited to do a live with you, not only because I'm just excited to see your face again, but also gaming is something that connects us, and the Miss America organization is something that connects us. And those two worlds don't often intersect, right? And so getting to know you and getting to know that we have the same hobbies in two different worlds was so exciting to me. And so I want to just pick your brain about the underrepresented portion of being a woman who likes these games, and what kind of experiences you've had, if you're comfortable talking about them, because I've had my own and they're rough sometimes. So what's your experience as a woman in gaming, and tell us advice you have, maybe. Experiences first, then advice.
Yeah, so I've got quite a few experiences. Like I said earlier, here in Dodge, we have a little magic group. There's only two of us girls. There's only two girls that, are in this group. And so anytime I try and get a girl to play with us who is interested in magic, whether she's played or not before, she usually gets scared by the fact that there's only two of us girls. And so, it's one of those things, not only in Magic, but in other video games and other gaming settings. Gaming is a male-dominated sport. And I say sport because even though it's not physical, it's, I still consider it a sport because we've got leagues and stuff for it. So, it is a male-dominated sport. And so as a woman, you really have to try your hardest to, make it look like you at least know what you're doing. Because I really want to go to, of course, COVID kind of prevented this, but originally our big group was planning on going to Seattle to go to this big Magic Fest. I was so excited, but I was also terrified. I don't know how many girls were going to be there, and I don't know if people would look at me and think that I don't belong, because a lot of the times I went to, so I'm just thinking of this story. Me and my family, we go to Colorado every year, and we go to Pagosa Springs, Colorado. Lovely place if you've ever been. And so we usually take a day to venture to this bigger town, more shopping. We do a shopping day in this town called Durango. And since I'd been interested in Magic, I realized that they had a game store. So back in 2019, that was the first time I ever went to the game store. And so I walk in and I'm wearing just this sun hat. I'm wearing this cute little, very girly outfit. And the people who were working at this game store didn't take kindly to me. I walked in because I wanted to see the new sets. I wanted to see what kind of sleeves, playmats, dice they had, and things like that. And I walk in and big hello, I am like, hi. And walk in, and then I walk up because they had all the Magic stuff behind the counter, so it wasn't stolen and stuff. And I walk up and I go, do you have the newest set, which at the time was Modern Horizons. So I said, do you have the newest set, Modern Horizons? And the guy kind of looks at me like he was kind of shocked by the fact that I knew what Modern Horizons was. And I asked, I was like, okay, could I get a couple of packs? And he was like, sure. I was like, okay. And then that's all I bought from that experience, because I wasn't happy by the fact that I was treated like that. But the second time around, when I went back in 2020, so mid-quarantine, we left, I think it was June. It was literally right after I graduated high school. So we left and we went back. It was a little bit cooler of a day on our shopping day to Durango, so I was just wearing a sweatshirt and leggings and tennis shoes. Very basic outfit. I knew we were going to do a lot of walking, and so I just wanted to dress comfy. Walk into the game store. Completely different reaction. I wasn't wearing anything, and completely. The guy is like, hi, how are you? I was like, oh, I'm good. How are you? And he's like, are you looking for anything in particular today? I was like, yeah, I just kind of wanted to see what kind of dice you had, and, you know, your different like accessories. And he goes, okay, so, and he like points to the different things and stuff, and he was super nice to me. And we were talking about the newest set at the time, which, again, I always love to talk about the newest sets. At the time was a set called Throne of Eldraine, a fairy tale based set. And they had, the company who makes it, Wizards of the Coast, recently came out with this like side product of the same set. I was sitting there talking to the guy about this side product because I personally didn't like it. It was super expensive for no reason. I was sitting there talking to him about it, and my family, who had walked over to another shop while I could just like go around looking there by myself, they came back in, and my dad came in to get me. He was like saying, hey, we're gonna head over to the next store. Are you coming? And so as I'm sitting there talking with the guy, he turns to my dad and starts talking to my dad about Magic. Mind you, my dad has no clue what he's saying. My dad has never played, he's never picked up a Magic card in his life. I think he's only ever picked up Pokemon cards like twice in his, you know, late teens. And so I was kind of taken back because I was like, I was just undermined. Just because a man walked up to me, you know, my dad, he started talking to him instead of talking to me, the one who clearly showed that I was knowledgeable about the subject, when my dad hadn't even said anything about gaming or anything related to that. He asked if we were going to the next store, if I was going to come along. And so I finished checking out. I had just bought some dice in a dice bag, and I finished checking out, and I walk out, and my dad goes, I had not a clue what the guy was saying. I was like, I did. And we were talking about it before you walked in. And he's like, why did he start talking to me about it? And I was like, Dad, you're a guy. And he was like, you're not wrong. And so for the fact that my dad, who doesn't even play video, he used to play video games in his teens. He had a Game Boy, but that's about the most he had ever played. You know, my dad saw the underrepresentation in front, like with his own daughter in front of him, you know, just a game store interaction. And so that was the biggest interaction I've ever had, that I realized how underrepresented and, you know, underestimated, I should say, underestimated women really are in gaming. It's kind of ridiculous.
I completely agree. It is ridiculous. And I am, first off, sorry that you had to deal with that.
It's fine.
Second, I think that there, as a woman in engineering, you know, I feel like I have the same experience, almost the same experience as walking into an engineering classroom as I do walking into a gaming store. Because for whatever reason that I mean, sexism is the easy answer in that obviously it's sexism, but like for whatever reason, I like, there's this stereotype that like I can't wear a dress and be an engineer, or that I can't wear a dress and be a Mario Kart 8 champion, which I am. I won at a Comic-Con Mario Kart tournament, and they all underestimated me again because I had makeup on. Like, I also accidentally entered, but beside that, I still won. But like, there's this stereotype or something that people just maybe I don't even know the word for it, but there's some reason that people have in their minds that you can't be attractive or feminine or interesting and also have gaming as a hobby or be intelligent or do other, like, well, that's not true at all. Like, humans are multifaceted creatures, and you can do lots of things, and you can wear your hair curled and get your makeup on and do one thing, and then you can also turn around and have your hair in a messy bun and wear sweatpants and still be the exact same human. But for whatever reason, projecting onto women that you have to like be more masculine or not be interested in the Miss America organization in order to play video games, like it qualifies you or something, it grinds my gears.
Me too.
And it's just kind of, it's, I don't know why people in just society in general has expectations for women that they have to be one-dimensional creatures, right? Like that's really the crux of it. And so I was so glad that you and I are both gamers and pageant queens, because it directly contradicts what we just talked about, society's message to women that we can only be one. So I love that you do that. I also love, you told me once about in a Miss America interview, you mentioned your gaming. And will you tell that story? Because I really enjoyed it.
Yes. So at my Miss Butler interview, so on my resume, I have that I do play Magic the Gathering. That is a decision that I made as a Miss. I was like, you know what? I'm not going to apologize for it. And so, they asked me about it at Ulysses. They asked me, what is Magic the Gathering? And they asked me, like, how, why it interests me and stuff like that. And so, the Miss Butler County interview, the judges asked me the same thing. What is Magic? Why does it interest you? Yada, yada, yada. And I told them, that it's a great game. It helps, develop different skills. It helps me as someone who struggles with math and things like that. I told them all my different reasons that I tell everyone. And when I won and I went up to the judges to thank them and take pictures with them, I asked them, I was like, interview, why did you choose me? And they said, because you were able to talk about it and not be sorry for it. You wanted to talk about it, and it's obvious that you were passionate about it. And that just blew me away, because I went from not wanting, because I've been playing Magic since 2018, the second year that I started competing in pageants. I've been playing Magic pretty much since I started competing in pageants. And so for years, I hid that because it's not, your typical pageant girl, I don't know the word to think of right now. It's not your typical pageant girl, attribute. And so when I finally your typical pageant girl, that's when I really wanted to start being passionate about what I was doing. And so for the fact that the judges told me that those exact words, that made me feel so good, and it ignited that fire, that nerdy fire in myself again to, go in and be myself, have fun with what I'm doing. Because that's what I started doing pageants in the first place, was to have fun. And I kind of forgot about that because I was so caught up in trying to be the stereotypical pageant girl. And so when that judge told me I felt so at peace again because I was able to be myself. And so I just loved the fact that I was able to nerd out like I am on this live in front of the judges, and they loved it. And so, that's definitely one of my favorite experiences with the Miss America organization.
I love that. I love that story so much for a variety of reasons. One, because you do light up so much when you nerd out, that nerd fire. I totally get it. But also because you just gave some incredible advice. Like, the judges can tell when you're being yourself and you don't have to be someone else. Just like, I think that's your mom who just commented,
Yeah,
they loved
that's
you
my
for
mom.
who you truly are.
Yeah, because I was acting who I
love
really
that
was. I wasn't
it's so
hiding. Yeah, I wasn't
exactly. And I
hiding
think
who I
that's a
was.
piece of advice that we could all take.
Mm-hmm.
Being yourself is the way that they'll maybe not pick you every time. Maybe being yourself isn't what they're looking for, but you were honest and you were true, and you always win, even if it's not the actual title. You win yourself each time by being yourself. So I think that's an excellent note to end on, because that was just fantastic. I don't know if we can go anywhere higher than that. But I want to ask, how can people keep up with your journey going on to Miss Kansas, your wedding planning journey, all of the things that you have? How can people follow you and keep up with your awesome nerdy self?
Yeah, so this Instagram page that I'm currently on right now, at Allie_Geier, ALLIE_GIER, is my personal account, and at Miss Butler County is my title holder page, and the spaces have underscores. It's kind of hard. It's a very long Instagram title. I didn't know how to fix it anyway else. So that's the two outlets that you can follow me on Instagram. Allie Geier, I think. Again, I barely use it. I just kind of tweet random thoughts, and if I see politics, I kind of chime in on that. And then on Facebook, you can follow Miss Butler County 2020 and also Allie Geier on Facebook. So you definitely get two sides of me with pageants. I'm definitely, full front advocating with my personal life, although I am still advocating. You see my day-to-day. I post my cat a lot on my Snapchat too. So, it's just different things that you see me more personally. You see when I nerd out, and you see the random selfies that I decide to post to Instagram. So if you follow my personal and my Butler County page, you'll definitely see the two sides that I have.
I love that so much. I am always appreciating cat pictures and dog pictures, all pet pictures. Yes. I'm just pleased. They bring a lot of great serotonin to me. Yes. Well, thank you so much, Allie, for sitting down and nerding out with me, and for encouraging me to get a Switch. It's already dirty. I've only had it like a week.
Mine is get one terribly dirty too. Yes, this was an amazing opportunity. Thank you so much. This has been an absolute blast.
I'm so glad. So everyone, yes, it has. Everyone go follow Allie. I'll be sure in the, once this posts as an IGTV, and I'll post it as a YouTube thing as well, I'll tag her in it. So be sure to go give her a like and a follow and everything. And thank you for tuning in.
Thanks, guys.